You know, have you ever wondered if you could keep your mind just as sharp at 70 or even 80 as it was at 30? Well, it turns out the science is saying, yeah, you absolutely can. And it all comes down to how you train it. So let's dive into the science of building a truly resilient, ageless mind.
Okay, let's just get right to the big question on everyone's mind. Can we really slow down how our brain ages? I mean, it's a huge concern for so many of us, right? But what's so cool is that the research gives us a surprisingly optimistic and really empowering answer. So, before we can protect our brains, we kind of have to know what we're up against. Let's start with the reality of what's actually happening inside our heads as the years go by.
So, what's the challenge? Well, it's totally normal for the brain to shrink a little bit, especially in the areas that handle planning and memory. And those chemical messengers, like dopamine, they can start to decrease a bit, which means the signals in our brain might not fire as quickly as they used to. This is just the natural baseline we're aiming to work with.
But here's the absolute key takeaway. The goal isn't to stop time. I mean, that's impossible. The real achievable goal is to build up our brain's resilience. We want to give it the strength to handle these changes and just keep on firing on all cylinders.
So, how in the world do we build that resilience? Well, we do it by tapping into one of the most incredible features of our own biology. This next part is all about your flexible, adaptable brain, because that's the real secret to staying sharp.
The star of the whole show is this idea right here, neuroplasticity. It sounds like a fancy science term, but it's a super powerful concept. It means your brain isn't set in stone. It's constantly changing, rewiring itself, and creating new pathways based on everything you do and learn. And the best part, this happens your entire life. So, how does that even work? Well, every time you challenge your mind, you trigger the release of this amazing protein called BDNF. And I love this analogy. Think of it as fertilizer for your brain cells. It helps new connections grow and makes the ones you have even stronger. So yeah, when you learn something new, you are literally fertilizing your own brain. How cool is that? All that learning and fertilizing builds something called cognitive reserve. And this is basically your brain's backup plan. The backup roads analogy is just perfect. By building all these new connections, you're creating a whole network of side streets and detours. So if some age-related issue creates a roadblock on a main highway, your brain's traffic can just reroute itself, and you might not even notice a slowdown. Okay, so now we know the why. We want to boost our brain's flexibility and build up that cognitive reserve. Now let's get into the how. It really boils down to four key ways to train your mind. So, here are the four pillars. First, there's cognitive training. Think learning a language or playing chess, things that build those complex neural networks. Second, physical exercise, like dancing or even a brisk walk, which is amazing for blood flow and growing new neurons. Third, we've got mindfulness, like meditation, which helps slash stress and sharpen your focus. And finally, social activity, because a good conversation or debate actually lights up huge networks all across the brain. Now, look, any one of these is great, but the real magic, that happens when you start combining them. The most powerful brain training comes from complex activities that make multiple parts of your brain talk to each other at once. Think about learning a musical instrument. You've got the cognitive part of reading music, the physical part of moving your fingers, and the listening part. It's a total brain workout. Okay, so this science is all amazing, but how does it fit into a normal, busy life? Right, this last part is all about turning this knowledge into a simple, practical plan you can actually stick with. To really make this work, you just gotta remember these four simple principles. Number one, variety. Don't just do crosswords all day. Mix it up. Two, consistency. The brain is a use it or lose it machine, so a little bit every day beats cramming once a week. Three, challenge. You have to push yourself a little. If it feels too easy, it's probably not doing much. And four, maybe the most important, enjoyment. You have to pick things you actually love to do, because that's the only way you're going to stick with it.
So, what could this look like in a real week? Check out this blend. Monday mixes physical and cognitive. Tuesday is all about being social. Wednesday combines that mindfulness with new learning. See? The goal isn't to do everything all at once, but to weave this rich, varied diet of brain food throughout your entire week.
You know, the big takeaway here is just so clear and, frankly, so empowering. You are not a passive victim of the aging process. Not at all. You are the architect of your brain's future. You have scientifically proven tools right at your fingertips to actively invest in its health and vitality for the long haul.
And that brings us to one final motivating question. Not what you'll do next month or even next week, but what about right now? What new mental challenge are you going to start today?